Okay, so we're here with Jason Villeneuve.
Terry Wilkinson.
And Toby Caplet.
It is May 17th. We are at St. Mary's Mission, St. Mary's School in Mission, BC, and the file number is 2011005. And have you been informed and understood and signed the consent form?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and if you disclose any information that indicates that a child or yourself may be at danger, and we may have to follow up on that. Okay, do you understand
Yes,
that?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And, well, you can start wherever you like.
Okay. My name is Terry Wilkinson, and I'll start at the present and then I'll go backwards. I'm here today. I came today as a result of my interaction with a young fellow in Mission, Daryl, who is a student of this, was a student of this residential facility. I've been with him for 3.5 years in my work. I'm an outreach worker on the streets of Mission, and I became friends with Daryl, and we've subsequently formed a very strong relationship and a strong bond. And what I do understand is that he's in a lot of pain and a lot of torture, and he's using a lot of alcohol and abusing a lot of things, and is in a lot of distress. Now, he's never discussed anything that's gone on in this school or the fact that he was even here. So I found out about this recently, that he was a student here, and it led me to understand a lot more of his pain. So I came here today on the understanding that I was going to be helping him through his journey of getting rid of the pain. But in the process, what happened was it's come to my attention that, and I've known this all along, but I thought I already dealt with this, was that I have experienced the pain and the loss as a result of treatment in not the residential school, but the Catholic school system. I myself was raised in the Catholic school right from grade 1 up to grade 12, and I was in the elementary school in St. Andrews in Vancouver, and then I went on to Little Flower Academy in Vancouver as well. My brothers attended St. Andrews Elementary, and then they went on to Vancouver College, where the monks, or the brothers, the Irish brothers, were running the school there. And that was a residential school, but not a native residential. It came to my attention during my relationship with my brother, who was 15 months older than me. I brought his picture today because this was my brother. And when he was 21 years old, he committed suicide. And prior to that, he told me somewhat of what happened to him. He was sexually abused by the Catholic priests at St. Andrews Elementary, where he was an altar boy. Now, I understand that he was abused there, but he didn't give me a lot of specifics. He just told me that things had happened there. And it wasn't really discussed, but I understood and saw his pain throughout his whole adolescence. He was in turmoil. And after he ended up taking his life, friends of his told me that he also disclosed to them that he was abused sexually by a priest at the school. Now, at the same time that he committed suicide, this is a picture of two brothers, my oldest one, and that's myself, and that's Barry, who committed suicide in 1974 at 21. Now, at the time that he committed suicide, my other brother, who was 18 at the time, found him hanging, and at that time, that brother became schizophrenic and ended up on the streets, where he still is to this day. We don't know if he's dead or alive, but from time to time we hear that, in the past that he has been taken to shelters and so on. But his his problems and his homelessness and so on, and his schizophrenia was as a direct result of the time that he found my other brother hanging. So for me, I feel as though I have two siblings that I've lost as a direct result of the insidiousness of the Catholic Church. Now, like I said, I felt as though I had dealt with all this, or at least I'd put it into the background. My mother died in 2009, and at the time she died, she never talked about this. She didn't want to hear about it. I tried to say things about why my brother was upset and why he was doing different things, but she would not hear of it because the Catholic Church is so strong in her faith that priests don't do things like that, and it wasn't, no, you just close your ears, and God rest her soul because she was innocent of it. However, she went to her grave not knowing that this was something that happened to one of her children. Now, the other brother, the oldest brother, Bill, he went to Vancouver College, and he's related stories of things that went on there in the residential part because people were living there boarding, and they were staying there from other countries, and he was aware of things that were happening there. As a result of that, he never disclosed any abuse on himself, but he disclosed things that went on there quite frequently with the brothers and the torture that they put these kids through. Now this brother, I don't know what happened to him there. He may have been abused there as well, but I can't speak of that because I don't know. But anyway, to this day, my oldest brother is an atheist because his take on this whole situation, now he knows that my brother committed suicide as a result of the abuse. He's never talked about that particular item, but he is a complete atheist because of what he went through, and his children were raised as atheists and making fun of the Catholic Church because his way of dealing with the pain is to just make a joke of the whole church, the priests, the popes, and everything else, and that's how he's dealt with it. So my family has lost a brother to suicide, a brother to schizophrenia and homelessness, and an entire family generation to lack of faith and loss of their faith as a result of the torture that different people in my family went through. Now personally, I have a spirituality that has got me here today, the spirituality that has allowed me to understand and walk with other people who have experienced the same pain. And that's why I can understand Daryl and how he's walking now and how hurt he is and how much it hurts him to discuss it. So I'm hoping that, although I'm not a residential student, that I can be a bit of a voice for him to say that if he doesn't have the strength to come here, maybe tomorrow or the next day, that at least I can say that I understand the pain and the torture that he's been through, which has caused him to just ruin his life to this day. Today he's probably out drinking now just to be able to avoid the pain. But I like to think that good things may come out of this because it's given me such an understanding. It's given me such a compassion for those people that have been through this torture and hell. And when I listen to the stories, I'm just so happy that I could be here today and listen to the pain because my brother wasn't able to express the pain. But I can feel it when I listen to other people's stories, and no one in my family has ever talked about this before because it wasn't talked about, and it's never been talked about, but the pain is there. And I think about the torture and these poor children that were tortured and weren't able to speak or raise their voices. And my brother was just one of them. He was a quiet, timid, sweet, introverted young boy. And I see in the First Nations people the same, the calm spirit, but the tortured soul. And I just hope that because of this, that I can help someone, maybe Daryl, because I love him and I just hate the pain he's going through. That maybe because of what I've been through, from what my brother's been through, that it will help him to heal himself. And if this could be seen by the Catholic Church, I hope it is. I just want to say that in the name of God, you've tortured people. You've ripped people's lives apart. You've made people atheists. And there's a special place in hell for those priests that did this to anyone, the residential students, it doesn't matter who. There's a special place in hell for those people that have tortured and to this day continue to hide and not take accountability for their actions. Now I know that I have to forgive. I have to forgive what's been happening in my family. But I pray to God that those people see one day or feel the torture that's been experienced by these poor children. And to this day, as adults, they're still being tortured because they're torturing themselves. And like I said to Daryl, you've been tortured enough. It's time to stop the torture, because now they're torturing themselves and they've had enough. So to those Catholic priests, I don't know, I have a lot of anger towards them. I don't know if they even understand what torture they've put on families, and not just residential schools, all the Catholic schools. Now I know how I feel as a student. I feel a little bit of it because by the nuns, I was teased, I was humiliated, I was, how would you say, intimidated, made to feel worthless and stupid, and I wasn't. But they did make me feel that way. I've been hit by them. I've been smacked across the face. I've been laughed at. But that doesn't compare to the torture that other people have gone through. So my pain is not for myself. It's for those that have gone through much, much worse. My poor, beautiful brother. This was him before they tortured him. And this was him after they tortured him. And you can see the spirit in his eyes had been taken away. And this is him just before he died. And he was so unable to speak, as many people here are, and many people that won't ever be able to speak. So I just hope that from what I've said, that I could be a voice for some of them. And I hope the torture stops. And I just pray that Daryl will have the strength to come in here, and if I could hold his hand and make the pain go away, I would. I've been trying. It's so hard to see, because I wanted to save my brother and I couldn't. I want to be able to save someone else from the torture. I hope the Catholic Church comes here and has the accountability. They need to look into the eyes of those that they've tortured and stop pretending it didn't happen. Stop pretending it was only people that were unworthy, because we're all worthy of being treated like human beings. I don't care what color your skin is. It makes no difference what color you are, where you come from. No one deserves torture like that. Spiritual torture. It's spiritual torture. It's physical torture. And it's totally uncalled for. And I'm thankful to God today that I maintained my spirituality through all this. And that I believe that the God that got me through this is the same God that will give those people what they deserve. Not out of hatred, but out of respect for my brother and all the others that have gone through it. And now my mother and my brother are together, and she understands, and there is no more torture for them. I get my strength from them today. And from God. Not the God that these people try to talk about. Feels better just to talk about it though. Because it's been 30, I don't even know how many years, 30 some odd. Never talked about it, but carried it. And and live it every day. But it's nothing compared to what they had to go through. So I don't know, maybe it's not that bad to feel the pain and still be alive. My beautiful brother. I'm sorry, I couldn't help him. Also, I just wanted to say too that I worked with the Matsqui First Nations for 12 years I'm a secretary at the school, Matsqui Elementary, and I worked with a lot of the First Nations kids there, and my heart went out to them because I don't know what things they endured as well, but I saw some things that I have just seen so much pain, and it all stems from the same source. It's time to stop. So I feel sometimes today when I walk around that I have to apologize for being white because I didn't do this, but I feel it. And I wish people would look at me and say, you know, it doesn't matter what color you are, we're all in this together. Pain feels the same no matter what color you are. And abuse is the same no matter what color you are, what language you speak. It's a universal language that needs to be wiped out off the face of the planet. And it won't stop until the Catholic Church stops. And it's not, I'm sorry, it's not just the Catholic Church, but that's my experience. That anybody who uses the name of God as a means of torturing little children, it's insidious. It's the worst illness that crawls the earth. It's worse than war. It's worse than floods. It's worse than anything. Tortured souls. It's hell. I think if there's anything else.
Do you mind if I ask you just a couple questions?
I mean, no, I don't mind.
Do you recall any students go missing or dying at the school, the Catholic school that you attended?
No, I don't recall that, no.
Do you remember if the school had a cemetery?
My school?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't recall that. No.
In your opinion, what is the best way for Canada to heal the history of these residential schools, both for First Nations and non-First Nations? What is the best
To
way for
heal it. Well, the healing has to come from each person. But as far as helping them to heal, my opinion is the accountability has to come. The accountability of the torturers that did it, and those that perpetrated, and those that allowed it to continue. In my case, it would be the Catholic Church, but the Pope is one who I know for a fact has authorized it and signed it off. Keep it secret. And I don't want to go on a rampage against the Pope, but that's only one area that I think needs to be addressed, is that it has to be somebody who stops the secrecy and the administrative hiding of this injustice and pretending it didn't happen, or trying to shove it under the carpet, or trying to minimize it, or pretend, oh well, it happened a long time ago. Because no, I think it's still happening. Until it's going to be addressed and acknowledged and taking accountability for, it's the only way that it can stop, is for them to admit and be punished for it. The government, I don't know if the government can authorize the churches to do whatever. I don't know what the government can do. But I think accountability is huge. Acknowledgement is huge. For them to look into the face of those people that they've tortured and have to look at it and see it and feel it. They probably can't feel it because they don't have feelings, but if they looked at enough people who were tortured, maybe it would change. Maybe they would feel bad, I don't know. So maybe some people don't have the capacity because what they did to little children, they couldn't have any kind of remorse or they can't have a soul because they've taken the soul of small children, tortured them. They need to look into the eyes of those they've injured and tortured and have to look at them for eternity. Take the pain. That's what I mean. They have to take the pain that these people and all the people that have felt it, they have to give it back to them. Somehow. I don't know the answers.
Would you like follow-up from the TRC or Health Canada? Check in with you?
No, I think I'm okay. I've lived with it for this many years. 30 some odd, I don't even know. 1974 is when he committed suicide. How many years ago is that? 2011? I can't even think. Is it more than 30 years?
37 years.
Since he died. But how many years prior to that? It doesn't go away and it doesn't feel any better or worse, it just stays the same. I wish Daryl could have been here to listen to mine because I think he would probably say something then.
Okay, Terry. Anything else that you want to say?
Probably when I get home I'll think of a million things, but right now it's pretty much, I hope that this can help somebody somewhere. It's not for naught, because pain is never for naught. It has to serve a worthwhile purpose somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you.